was a typical English summer's day last July. Rain had stopped play during the Test series against the West Indies, and the commentators had an opportunity to talk about current events.
It was at this moment that legendary fast bowler Michael Holding delivered a very powerful monologue about the Black Lives Matter movement, reaching an audience way beyond cricket. Take a look.
West Indies legend Michael Holding joins us now. It's lovely to see you and to be able to talk to you. One of the reasons that we're talking to you is not just because of what you said, but what it has led to. And this is your book, Why We Kneel, How We Rise. Because we heard the emotion as your voice cracked at the end of that particular part of what you were saying. And I know that you then went on and did an interview with Mark Austin, and you were very emotional in that as well. But you thought that that was enough at that point, didn't you? You thought, right, I said my piece. I will just leave it to others to decide how to take it on. Until Thierry Henry got in touch with you and you thought, OK, perhaps I need to take this on myself. Tell us about that.
Yeah, well, first of all, I didn't plan to say what I said on Sky. It was just a matter of the opportunity arising because, of course, of the rain. And then after that, as you said, Suzanne, I thought, well, I've said my piece. You know, if people don't understand what I'm saying from what I've just said, they don't want to understand, and I can do nothing about that. But then, as you said, I started getting calls. The first person to call me was Thierry Henry. Matter of fact, he didn't call me initially after that first piece on Sky. He called me after I did that interview with Mark Austin, because he saw me literally shedding tears, and he called me and said, Mikey, I feel your pain. And we started to have a discussion and we spoke about it. And even then, I didn't intend to write a book. But more people started sending messages. My ghostwriter, Ed Hawkins, who did my last book, said, Mike, we have to take this further. And eventually, with pressure from all those people, I call it pressure, but not really. I even had fellow commentators, people working with me at Sky, saying, you can't stop there. And that is how the book came about.
You didn't intend to say what you said, Michael, as you say, the rain was coming down as an opportunity to discuss what was going on in the news at the time. Was it quite difficult to sort of take on the impact that it had? Because I can remember watching it at the time and being absolutely blown away by listening to how eloquent and clearly you explained something that lots of people were struggling to explain and to understand. And then to suddenly realise how that reverberated then going forward and doing that incredible interview with Mark as well. Has it been quite overwhelming to feel that sort of sense of responsibility to what you're saying?
Well, when I did that interview with Mark Austin, I went straight back to the commentary box because I was at cricket. I went back to the commentary box and spoke to my boss, Brian Henderson, my immediate boss at Sky, and I said, Hendo, that's it. I'm speaking to no one else on this matter, because people tend to think that it's like you're discussing a cricket game or a football game. They don't understand the emotions that flow through you. You don't just shed tears because you're happy. You know, those emotions, you don't want to face them every day. And at that point, I said, that's it. I'll speak to no one ever. I had people from the USA, NBC, calling me, wanted to speak to me. I said, absolutely no chance. This is not a football match. You're getting involved with my life and my emotions. No way. But then, as I said, you know, with so much messaging and people coming from all parts of the world saying, this is something that has to be told, this is something that has to go further. That's how I got involved with the book. But it's not an easy task, and even writing the book wasn't easy. Some of those chapters, I have read them more than once, but some of the other chapters, I've read them many times, because some chapters I don't want to read again. I sent a chapter to my sister when I was doing the book, because I kept on sending chapters to my sisters. They're older than me. And one of the times I sent a chapter to her, she said, Mikey, I am not reading this. I cannot read this. This is painful. So people think it's something that is fun doing and fun going through. It's not.
I think, do you know what? You explain it so clearly, because I know that in the wake of what happened to George Floyd, his murder, I know that the whole discussion about the Black Lives Matter movement, for a lot of people, they describe an experience of exhaustion and emotional exhaustion, the constant explaining of why these things are important, and that sort of sense of why do we have to keep telling you how bad this is. And I know that, you know, that has been a strain. The important thing about this book is that it does explain these things. You do feel that it is important to use this time as an opportunity to educate people about what you call the dehumanization of black people. That speech that you gave when Rain stopped play was, I think, just 6 weeks after George Floyd's murder. How significant was that moment, do you think, for the movement?
Well, a lot of people have told me that they didn't quite understand until they heard me speak. A cameraman who works with Sky, who was not even working on that particular game, messaged me immediately afterwards and said, Mikey, I didn't understand until I heard you, and I heard some of the stories from Ebony Rainford Brent as well. I now understand how privileged I am to have never experienced what you guys have experienced. He had a Confederate cap that he wore on a regular basis, a grey Confederate cap. But he said he wore it because he liked the shape. It's shaped like a triangle. And he said he didn't understand the history behind it. And when he heard me and Ebony, he decided that he was never, ever going to wear that cap again, and he threw it into the garbage. And this is what I'm trying to do, just get people to understand what it is all about. And education is the way forward. We need to teach all of history, not just history that suits one set of people. When I was a young man growing up at school, I was never taught anything good about black people and people of color. And I've since discovered all the great things that people of color and black people have done that have been airbrushed out of history. They have been airbrushed out of history because they do not suit the narrative of white superiority. That is what people want to portray. And until we teach all of history so that everyone, black and white, can understand the true history of mankind, we will continue to have these problems, we'll continue to struggle. Because we have people growing up subconsciously or not thinking that they are superior to other races, and we have people growing up subconsciously or not that they think they are inferior to other races.
Why We Kneel and How We Rise is what you've titled the book. At the moment, we're watching the Euros. We've seen various football teams over the course of the Premier League season here in the UK or equally around the world, and now the national side deciding to take a knee, and some of them deciding not to take a knee as well. What's your thoughts about that, Michael, and how do you feel when you hear the boos that the England team face as they take the knee, but equally the rousing applause and the cheering that they get to combat that?
Well, I'm glad to see that the rousing applause and the cheering is now getting larger and really outdoing the booing. I am a little bit disturbed by the booing, but it's not something that I'm totally surprised about, because as I've told people, you'll always have racism, you'll always have people who don't want to understand, but it's a matter of trying to get the masses, the majority, to understand and the majority to realize that things are wrong and to make changes. It's like crime. You will never get rid of crime, but the less crime you have in a society, the better off you are. As for the taking a knee, I'm not here to tell anyone that they must take a knee, because I don't want people to take a knee because they are ticking a box. You either take the knee because you support the cause or you don't. If you don't support the cause, don't take the knee because people are telling you to take a knee. That is not what I'm expecting from anyone. The worldwide acceptance gesture to support Black Lives Matter is taking the knee. But as I said, don't take the knee if you don't believe in it. Don't take the knee because you want to say, I'm ticking this box, now I can move on, as I've seen others do. I don't want that, and I don't think people really want that.
What do you say to those who say that the taking of the knee backs the Black Lives Matter political movement, as opposed to it is associated with the importance of the phrase Black Lives Matter? I mean, I find it extraordinary that people can't disentangle the two things. But do you find yourselves constantly saying to people, this isn't about a political movement, this is about saying something very important?
Well, I keep on referring to that in my book, and I keep on telling people that I have nothing to do with any political movement. When you think of Colin Kaepernick, I don't think when he took the knee, he was thinking about any political movement that's called Black Lives Matter. He was thinking of the injustices that take place in America and are taking place all over the world. This has nothing to do with politics. I have no idea. I've never visited the BLM website, if there is one. I've never tried to find out who formed it or anything like that. I am interested in the 3 words, Black Lives Matter. If you add the 3 letters after that, TOO, people would soon quieten down. Because all we are trying to say is we matter as well. We are not telling anyone that we matter more than anyone else. But all the evidence so far suggests that our lives don't really matter. And it's about time that our lives matter now. That's all we want, equality. You know, I don't understand why people can't see that. Or some people don't want to see it, Susanna. I believe that. Some people just don't want to see it. And some people will try to pull down whatever they can because they don't want change. They are quite happy with their lives, they are quite comfortable with their lives, and they don't want to see any change.
Well, Michael, we've really enjoyed having you on this morning. As Reigate Coach has tweeted to us, if people don't have a penny drop moment listening to legend Michael Holding, we stand no chance. It's so powerful. Your book, Why We Kneel and How We Rise, will discuss all that we've been talking about this morning. Thank you for everything that you are doing. Thank you for the incredible job that you do, day job. But more importantly, this is a hugely important task that you've given yourself.
Thank you for your time this morning, Michael.
Thanks for having me. Thanks for entertaining me.
Oh.